Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of Need I Say Myrrh, the Christmas podcast. And today I am delighted to welcome as our special Christmas guest, Richard Miles. Hello, Richard. How are you today?
Hi there, I'm fine, thanks. Good to be with you.
That's good. Well, it's good to have you with us. Maybe you could quickly introduce yourself, who you are, where you are, what you do.
Okay, well, as Adam said, I'm Richard. I'm a minister of a Baptist church in Pontypool. Pontypool is a small town just north of Newport. I've been in ministry there now for nearly 8 years, and God's been very good to us as a congregation at the moment. We're seeing small signs of growth, but still being encouraged and wanting to take the love of Jesus into the community where God has sent us. So, yes, that's me. I'm in Pontypool.
Yep, that's great. And you are Welsh by birth.
Yes, I was originally from Newport, which is not too far from here. So, by a pretty circuitous route, I've ended up back in Pontypool. I've lived in various different places, including England and Ireland, but now back in Wales
back in your
again.
Homeland. Yes.
Yes, back in the homeland. That's
right. I'm wondering, because you've travelled a bit then, do Welsh Christmases differ a lot from English and Irish Christmases?
Well, I mean, my wife is Irish, and what I would say is that Irish Christmases, or the sort of Christmases that I'm used to seeing there, are probably noisier than we would have in our home in Newport.
Okay.
We're a smaller family. We always had good Christmases. We always had Christmases that were enjoyable. But in Ireland, the families, there's more of them, and there's more to and fro, more coming and going. So I would say probably slightly busier. I must be honest, I don't think I ever actually spent a Christmas in England. So I can't comment on that particularly, but certainly I can compare Ireland and Wales as Christmases, yes.
I am English by birth, so I've experienced English Christmases. Okay. I'm not sure how different they are, but then being here in Bridgend, we're not the most Welsh part of Wales, so I'm not sure we get the full Welsh experience.
No, I mean, I'd probably say the same about Pontypool and Newport as well in many respects, and I'm sure that many of my Welsh contemporaries would have something to say about that. But I think that's just the reality of the situation, really, probably, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. Well, we do encourage correspondence on this podcast, so if any of the listeners want to write in about their more Welsh Christmases or their views of Pontypool and Bridgend, then we're very happy to have that correspondence. Please get in touch. But we'll get into the questions. I'm asking each guest on this podcast the same questions, finding out some of their Christmas preferences, starting with this question, Richard. What is your favourite festive food?
My favourite festive food, I think, now this may sound obvious, but it's the actual turkey. Now, the thing that Christmas is really known for. I enjoy nothing better than a well-cooked turkey with some cranberry sauce. Have memories of growing up at home and the night before, the turkey being put into the oven, and the smell from the turkey was always absolutely wonderful. Just evokes a memory of Christmases, smelling the turkey and then enjoying the turkey on Christmas Day, and of course then from subsequent days afterwards, because you'd have turkey with all the trimmings on Christmas Day. Then the following day you might well have turkey and chips, you have turkey sandwiches and all sorts of things like that. Some people would say you might get sick of it by the end of the Christmas period, but I've always enjoyed it, I must say.
That's good. Yeah, and actually, of the people I've interviewed for this podcast so far, not many have said turkey. I think
really,
perhaps it's maybe because it's so obvious, people overlook it. But turkey is an important part of our Christmas as well, and as you say, it extends beyond Christmas Day for days, weeks, months to come, depending on how big a turkey you get.
That's right. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So, have you ever experimented with other meats for Christmas Day, or have you always been firmly turkey?
We did go and visit one of my nephews a few years ago, and he gave us goose. That's something that I'd not experienced before. I enjoyed that, I must say. Yes, it was good. It was nice just to have a bit of a change, but I still think probably I'd prefer coming back to turkey at Christmas. Now, the thing is, I probably wouldn't have turkey at many other times of the year apart from Christmas. So it's particularly a Christmas thing, I guess. So it's something to look forward to at this time of the year, really.
A special festive treat. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. Yes,
Mhm.
it is. Yes.
Well, let me ask you about music then, and your
Okay.
favourite non-religious Christmas song.
I mean, again, without wanting to sound too obvious, I don't think you can go too far wrong with the very well known I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas, Irving Berlin classic from, well, it's actually been in a few different films, hasn't it? But yes, Bing Crosby's version, I suppose, is the most famous, isn't it? But there's just something about the whole melody and lyrics, the way that they're put together, just again evokes an atmosphere of Christmas, I think, doesn't it? As to what people dreaming of a white Christmas. I mean, obviously we think of that snow, don't we? And we don't very often get white Christmases in this part of the world, it has to be said.
No.
But perhaps the white Christmas is more about a good Christmas, or a Christmas that is a happy Christmas, or a Christmas that's you get good memories of. So yeah, from that perspective, and lyrically and musically, I think it is just a good piece of music and something I enjoy listening to.
Do you have a favourite recording of it?
No, as I say, I think the original Bing Crosby version that was the hit back, whatever it was in the 50s or whatever it was. I think that probably. I mean, I know there've been quite a few since. I mean, I do actually like. I'm a classical music fan as well, so I've heard recordings by Bryn Terfel and the like, and they're really good, and I enjoy those as well. But I think you keep coming back to the original of that,
Classic
probably
Bing.
the Bing Crosby one, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It is one of those very evocative Christmas songs, isn't it? That when you hear it,
It is,
it
yeah.
gets you into that Christmas spirit. That is
Yeah.
good. Let's talk about decorations then. And
Okay, yeah.
your least favourite Christmas decoration. Not your favourite, but your least favourite.
Well, in our house, we put up quite a few different decorations. My wife is very much into Christmas decorations, so we have a tree which is decorated with a load of things and tinsel and all those sorts of things. But we also have one of those cardboard stars that you put around a light bulb. I don't know if you've seen those. They're flat, but you kind of put them together. You tie them, and it's in a sort of star shape, and the light from the light bulb goes through the star. And that I find really very, very irritating, because what you have to do is you take one of your light fittings, which has a normal light bulb in it, you take the normal lampshade off, and then you have to stand on whatever it is, a steps or whatever, and put this thing up. You have to make sure you tie it properly so it doesn't fall down. And then at the end of Christmas, when you're taking all the decorations down, you then have to untie it and then put the lampshade back up. And last year, to put the lampshade up, it must have taken us ages. It took myself and somebody else as well to screw all the bits in and put them back together. And I just thought, is it really worth doing this just for a cardboard star over the lamp? Now, I appreciate it, and says quite. My wife actually likes that particular decoration, so I shouldn't be saying anything against it. But it was just getting it.
You will still have to go through the process then again this year to put up the star.
Yes, although I'm going to ask her whether she really thinks that it's worth spending all that time putting the lampshade back up afterwards, whether she just leave it. I mean, we always have plenty of lights on the tree. We have lights on a garland around the fireplace. So, we've got plenty of lights in the place. So,
Do you need it? Yeah.
We could have a coloured light bulb, because that's easy enough. Just change the light bulb. We can do that. But actually having to take the shade off to put the star on, that's a whole other thing.
Okay. So your dislike of it is mainly logistical, of the amount of hassle it is to.
Yes, I think
put it up.
so. Yeah, as much as anything else. Yes. I can't say I particularly dislike any of that, because I quite like the sort of bright decorations and things that generally are put up. Yeah, they generally look good, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I look forward to hearing whether you manage to persuade your wife not to put it up this year, or whether you have to go through the full process again.
I'll let you know that.
Yes, yeah, please do. Which brings us to our last question, which moves beyond the decorations to the heart of Christmas for us as Christians, thinking about the story of the birth of Jesus.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, who is your favourite person in the nativity account? Not including Jesus, of course.
Of course. Well, I mean, there are so many out there. I mean, it's just, and the way that everybody in the whole nativity account, the way that God put the whole thing together, just shows his plan and purpose. But I mean, I must be honest, I've actually got quite a soft spot for Joseph. And
Okay.
I tell you what, that is because he just seems to be what many people might describe as a decent sort of person. He obviously wanted to do the right thing by Mary in the first place. You know, we're told he didn't want to put her to public disgrace. And that shows integrity as a character, I think. You know, I appreciate that about him. Obviously, somebody who would have her best interests at heart. And I mean, we don't read very much more about Joseph after the nativity accounts. I mean, we read about Mary and Joseph when Jesus is 12 going to the temple. But apart from that, and it's quite probable that he's died by the time Jesus begins his ministry. But the important thing is about Joseph, of course, that yes, he was wanting to do the right thing by Mary, but he was obedient to what God wanted. And when the angel said to him, "Don't be afraid to take Mary as your wife," he didn't argue. He didn't try and protest. He obeyed, and he did take Mary, and he did show obedience to what God wanted. And so I think that's important. And for us as Christians too, that when God calls us to do something, when God wants us to do things for him, we are to be obedient. I mean, that was a very important thing, of course, for Joseph, having to look after the Son of God. But whatever it is in our lives, that also we should be obedient in the same way that Joseph was. And that stands as an example to us.
Yeah, it's an inspiring and a challenging example to us, isn't it? Of that obedience and that integrity in his character, both in his attitude towards Mary in this situation and towards God as well. That integrity and obedience. Yeah. Do you know what you'll be preaching on this Christmas?
No, I'm actually away Christmas Day, believe it or not.
Okay, well there you go. Take the day off.
So I'm preaching. We're actually in Ireland for Christmas, but
Okay.
I have actually been asked to preach somewhere on Christmas Eve, which
Okay.
I haven't finally decided yet. But for series in Advent leading up to Easter, I generally do an Advent series here, so starting on the first Sunday of December. I'm going to take 3 of the maybe less well-known hymns that we might sing at this time of the year. They're the hymns that may well be known to many people, but outside of Christianity, they're probably less well known. So the hymn, Charles Wesley's "Let Earth and Heaven Combine," our God contracted to a span, incomprehensibly made man. Thou who is rich beyond all splendor, and thou dost leave thy throne and thy kingly crown. The overall theme really is the fact that Jesus was prepared to leave the glory of heaven, to humble himself and come to earth. So we'll be looking at passages from Philippians chapter 2, for example, where also the verse where Paul writes about so that through his poverty you might become rich. Those sort of themes of Jesus being prepared to humble himself so that he could redeem us and bring us to know God. And that just that reminder, which I think we always need as Christians, isn't it?
Yes, we do always need it, and for us as ministers as well, we need to remember that. And
that's right. Yes,
we come back to every year. It's still so amazing, isn't it? That
that God, Jesus would leave the glories of heaven and come to this earth for us. That
yes.
I think when we stop losing the amazement, then that's not a good thing at all, is it?
No, yes. So thank you for joining us, Richard, and I hope you have a Christmas full of amazement at the good news, and a very happy Christmas in Ireland as well.
And happy Christmas to you as well. Thank you. It's good to be with you.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!